You may want some blocks for this sequence if you're tighter in the hips. And we'll get right to it. We're going to start on our backs. So find the length of your spine. As you let your back body settle into the floor, allow the weight of the legs to drop heavy into the hips. Let the tail lengthen towards the heels. And just feel the firmness of the floor. Noticing the angle of the pelvis. And you can begin to breathe deep into the lungs. Letting your shoulders soften, the shoulder blades gently tuck in and down the back. And the head extends towards the wall behind you. And taking some bigger, deeper breaths here. Noticing the expansion of the chest, the rib cage, and with the exhale, letting the ribs soften back in. Then we'll take the arms up and overhead. Press the feet into the floor, slide yourself back a little bit to let the shoulder blades drag down, and extend out through your right heel, reach through your right arm. And then extend your left leg, reach through your left arm to stretch through one side of the body. And then draw the right knee in towards the chest. Push the left leg forward. Ground the left thigh down towards the mat. See if you can close off the space between the thigh and the floor. And then switch, draw the left knee back, push through the right heel, right thigh pushes down towards the floor. And drawing both knees in towards the chest. Soles of the feet together, let the legs release off to the sides, or the knees release off to the sides. And bring your elbows out wide, like a cactus, gently pulling the elbows wide, and start to slide the hands up above the head and pull the elbows down towards your side ribs. Like you're making little lazy snow angels here, letting the arms hover just above the floor. And just notice the movement, the shoulder blades. Take those arms up, hook the thumbs together, extend the arms back. As you lengthen those arms back, press the bottom back ribs into the floor. The tail lengthens away from the arms. Lift the arms again. Switch the hook of the thumbs and reach the fingertips back, pulling those thumbs apart strongly. Bottom back ribs soften down, legs are heavy. And then release the arms. Use the hands to lift the knees back. And we'll scoot the hips over to the right side. Take your right leg over your left, crossing, and then release both knees down to the left. Taking a spinal twist here, try to get that right shoulder to drop into the floor. It may lift, and that's okay. You can lift the knees or you can lift the shoulder if you're tighter in the waist. And of course, if this is too much, just unwind the legs. Take your twist as it feels appropriate. You can look over your right hand towards your right hand. And then lift the knees back to the center. We're going to scoot those hips over to the other side. Left thigh crosses the right. Try to keep that left shoulder heavy as you release the legs over to the right side. And again, it's okay if the shoulder lifts here, or if your knees don't touch the floor, that's fine too. You can turn the head to look over your left hand, getting the stretch all the way up to the cervical spine. And then bring everything back to the center. Realign the hips with the shoulders. And we'll draw the knees in. Take the legs up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands behind the head and you're going to lift your chest. So lift the shoulders, lift the chest, bring your legs halfway down, right leg up, and then right leg to join the left. Right leg up, right leg to join the left, right leg up, and right leg to join the left. Again, right leg to join the left, and right leg to join the left. And then take both knees or feet down to the floor. Rock those knees side to side. And then again, we're going to take the other side. Both legs up, lift your chest. Pull those shoulder blades off the floor, legs halfway. And then left leg up, left leg to join the right. Left leg up, left leg to join the right. Left leg up, left leg to join the right. Left leg up and join the right. And left leg up and join the right. And both legs up, let the back body rest. Draw those knees in towards the chest. You can take a happy baby here. Letting the knees soften towards the side ribs. The hips are heavy. Maybe rock those or extend each leg one at a time. Just explore here, see what your flexibility provides as you shift side to side and move at your own pace. And it's fine if your legs don't straighten. You'll feel the stretch. See what you can do. And then draw the knees back to the center. And we're going to tuck the shoulder blades in and under. Push those heels into the floor. And lift the hips. As you ground those heels, lift the hips, pull the back ribs up. You can push into the feet and scrub your feet apart like you're trying to tear your mat in half. Feel your hips engage, your glutes. You can extend the arms a little bit, lengthening the fingertips towards the knees, and then rest. Release everything down. If you want to take this deeper, you can take your fingertips under your heels or just hold the outer edges of the mat. Push the heels into the floor, lift the hips, and this time really pull the back body off the floor. Get those shoulder blades to lift, the armpit chest to draw up. Chest moves towards your chin as the heels ground. You can shift your weight into one leg, then the other a little bit, and then release down. We're going to press right back up and down and right back up. So a few lifts and releases, moving at your own pace. Once more. Root those heels, lift the sacrum. Keep going, grounding through the heels. Move the sacrum upwards. And then we'll come back down. And roll over to your right side. We're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. Right leg extends back, left arm lengthens forward, and then begin to pull the elbow in towards the knee. Reach it long, pull it in. If you want to get a little bonus here, use your hand to really ground or pull the shin in towards your chest. It may feel like a cheat, but it can really get you deeper into those hip flexors. Keep moving at your own pace. Extend the arm, extend the leg. We're going to release it down. And then step your right foot in between your hands. If you needed your blocks to do that, grab them for the next side. And then from here, extend your chest forward as you sink your hips. You're going to walk the hips back so the right leg extends long. Again, you can use those blocks to get a little more extension. You want to really keep your spine long here, even if you need to bend your knee, or especially if you need to bend your knee. Pull the back body in. You'll feel the stretch. Try to stay light on your fingertips, and if you're on the blocks as well. And then we'll sink forward again, letting the sacrum drop towards the floor. The chest extends forward. We'll come high on into our runner's lunge. Pull your knee off the floor. Heel toe your right foot off to the side, and we'll start to sink the torso here. So you can let the right knee soften off to the side as you extend your torso forward. And I'm a little tighter on this side, so I like to use the block or just my hands. Some of you may be able to drop your forearms to the floor very easily. Just see what you can do, but try to keep your spine long. The goal isn't to get to the floor. The goal is to lengthen the torso away from the legs. Take care you're not rolling onto your knee. We're going to drop our knee down here. And you may want a little extra support. I realized I was regretting not having a blanket for my knee here. We're going to take a twist. So with the left hand on the floor, right hand to the knee, keep the sacrum dropping, the torso turns, and you can start to lift the back foot off the floor if you want to get deeper into the quad stretch. And doubling up your mat can help if it's hard on your knee. So stay with the breath, just lifting that back foot. It's a little bonus. If that doesn't feel good, don't go for it. You may be able to grab your heel or your foot here. It's a little hard on my knee. I don't do that one. But go for it if that's in your practice. And then we'll unwind. Bring it back to the center, back to your runner's lunge. And then with your fingertips on the floor, on the block, we're going to start to straighten the front leg. Grip the outer right thigh into the outer right hip. Let your chest extend forward. So think of your long spine here. If you're going to arch through the spine, just observe how it feels. You're not going to get much more flexible by working with the arched spine. So it might feel good. You can take a few like that. But if you want to open the hip, work with your long spine. See what kind of mobility you have through the leg, through the hip. And then we'll release the back knee down and straighten the front leg again, taking your Ardha Hanumanasana here. And pull the toes back towards the body. And then we're going to bend that front knee again. And you can challenge yourself to draw the knee in towards the chest to step it back without lifting your hands. You can use blocks if you need to. And then from here, we're going to wag our tail a little bit, getting the stretch through the side waist. And then you'll bring your torso back to the center, and we'll take the left leg back. Reach through the right arm, and then draw the elbow in towards the knee. Pull it in strong, belly to spine, reach and extend. Again, moving at your own pace here. If you want to take that action where you hold the shin and pull it in strong towards your chest, it can get you a little deeper. It's a really good way to train the mobility of the hip flexor. We can pull in a lot closer than we think we can. And then you're going to draw that's the left knee in towards the chest, step it through, come into your low lunge here. Letting the sacrum drop. Again, use those blocks if you need to. Think of your long spine, so whatever allows your spine to lengthen. By adding height, it can help. And then we'll straighten the front leg. Grip that outer left thigh back as you lengthen your torso forward. Imagine pulling your belly away from your pelvis, the chest away from the belly. You can play with curling the toes back towards the body, maybe pointing the toes, spreading the toes. And always breathe into those stretch points. I'm going to bend that front knee. Come into that low lunge once more. And then heel toe your feet off to the side. We're going to come up off the knee behind to take your lizard. You can drop your elbows to the mat or use your blocks. Or just bend the elbows. Think of your long spine pulling away from the back leg. And breathe. Stay with the breath. Breathe into the movement. You can drop the back knee down. Maybe sink into that lizard a little more. Then bring the right hand to the floor, the left hand to the left knee. Taking a little twist here, the sacrum drops. If you want to get that bonus quad hip flexor stretch, you can lift the back foot behind. So lifting and releasing. If you want to go for the back bend, you can reach back, grab your foot. Again, I don't practice that, but go for it if it's in your practice. And then we'll release the hands back down. You can heel toe your front foot back in. And then straighten the front leg, gripping the outer left thigh into the outer left hip, bend the knee, and grip it back. So playing with the movement here, imagine the torso lengthening. You can arch through the spine, see how it feels, but then work with that long lengthening of the spine as much as you can. And of course, you can always step your back foot in a little bit more and shift your hips side to side. Really explore the stretch points. You can also play with curling the toes back. And then we'll drop onto our back knee, step that back or front foot back, and then challenge yourself. See if you can step the foot back without lifting your hands. All right, walk those knees back, walk the fingertips forward. We'll take a little puppy here on our fingertips. So imagine pulling the forearms up, pulling the side ribs up away from the arms, the outer hips extending back. Breathe smoothly. And then drop the elbows down. Try to keep the elbows pretty close in, closer than you think they need to be. Palms together. And the more you point your fingers up towards the ceiling, the more opening you'll get in the shoulders, the underarms, and really melting the chest towards the floor. You might be able to rest your forehead. You might not. See what those shoulders can do. And then releasing the hands back down. Walk those knees in. And then from here, we're going to make our way onto our bottoms. And we'll take a Janu. First, we're going to extend those legs long. Reach out through the heels. Drop the thighs. And we'll take the right leg out to the side. Drop the left leg out to the side. And draw the left heel in towards the inner left groin. Notice the angle of your pelvis. You want to be high on your sits bones with your pelvis tilted forward a little bit and your knee pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Drop the thighs and lift the torso long, pulling the back ribs in, chest is lifted. So again, you want to think of your long spine. So I'm showing an option here in the window. You can sit on a chair, especially if you're really tight or if you're working on gaining flexibility. This is a nice place to practice with your chest lifted. Same rules apply, spine long. So many of us can get a better tilt in the pelvis. So stay with the breath. And in that window, I'm showing both sides. You can lengthen your leg along one couch. You don't need two couches. You can do it on the floor. We're still on the same side. Keep the thighs grounded. Torso lengthening. Notice how the pelvis can tilt, but the legs stay grounded. Drop them to the floor. Think of them as your rooting, your foundation. And pull your torso up and away, out of the grounding of the pelvis and the legs. Back body moving in, chest extending forward. And use the breath. With every inhale, lift a little. Give yourself some more space. With every exhale, soften a little bit deeper. And then we'll lift back up to the center. And be cautious as you draw the legs back in and extend the legs long. And then we'll move to the other side. So whether you're seated, sitting up on a couch or a chair, or on the floor, now you take that left leg out to the side, right heel in towards the right inner groin. You can always support the knee if you need it. Should have told you that on the other side, but here you go. Keep lengthening the torso again. With that inhale, torso's long and lifted. With the exhale, soften into the fold. So you want to create the lift and the length of the spine first, and then see how far you can move into that space of the hinge of the hip, grounding of the legs. Think of these lines of energy, the belly pulling up and out of the pelvis, the inner groin extending out with the inner heel, the outer right knee, the inner right groin, releasing heavy. Also moving away from the pelvis. Staying with the breath. And then we'll press those hands, lift the torso up, draw the knee in, draw the leg in, and extend both legs long again. All right, and then from here, if you've got blocks, you can use them. We're going to come up to standing. Bring your feet wide on your mat. We're going to take our side lunges here. So you just shift side to side. You can use the blocks to stay higher, or you can bring your hands to the floor. And make sure your bent knee is always pointing the same direction as your toes to keep the knee safe. You can do it no hands. You get more strengthening through the inner groins, the glutes. And this is a great one to really mix up. Mix up the movements, getting the strengthening, getting the stretch. When you pair them, it helps you maintain the openness that you've created throughout this stretch sequence. So move at your own pace. You can take it real shallow, you can take it real deep. All ranges. And be careful. It can be a bit of a balancing act here. You can also hold on to something higher, like the back of a chair, if you don't want to go too low. All right, and then from here, you're going to heel toe those feet back in. And we're going to come to a deeper squat. So bring your knees about over the ankles, the inner knees, push them back gently and drop your hips. We're going to shoot one shoulder forward and then shoot the other shoulder forward. Gently press the knees away from you, and those knees don't move. So notice how the knee drops forward. Don't do that. I see it all the time. Keep the knees back. Don't take the knees with you as you shift. Knees pressed back, finding the length of the side waist. See if you can sink those hips even deeper. You might be able to inch those heels away from each other. All right, and then we'll heel toe it in. And then from here, again, we're going to work that flexibility that we've gained through this practice. So come to a down dog. We're going to rock out through the hips, pedal the heels, and again, explore the movement. Take a few shifts that feel good. And then you're going to walk back to the back of your mat. And I don't have much space here, so hopefully you have more space. We're going to do a little crawl. So you'll take your right hand, right foot, step it forward. Left hand, left foot, step it forward. Right hand, right foot. Left hand, left foot. Right hand, right foot. And then you'll shift back the opposite direction. So you're getting a little crawl here. And of course, if you need to bend the knees, bend the knees. Do what you can do. Try to keep those legs as straight as you can. So opposite hand, opposite foot with each step. Hopefully you have a little longer to travel than I do. Go the length of your room and then walk it back. All right, and then from here, we're going to take a little frog hop. So or actually we're going to take a little squat. If you can't go deep in a squat, hold on to something. If you got a couch, a chair, take it as deep as you can go, but hold on. You can hold on to the arm of the chair, the back of the chair, the seat of the chair, whatever you need. All right, otherwise, see how low you can take it. And then draw the belly in. We're going to take our little hop here. Ground the palms, pull your bottom up as you hop forward and then hop back. And again, go the length of your room, whatever you've got. I get about 3 hops here, maybe 2. And you want to land very lightly. We want to get that core to engage. We want to learn to trust our shoulders. So hop it forward, hop it back, and find a sense of playfulness here. And you can do this with blocks as well, especially if you find a squat is very challenging. And then we'll bring it back to our down dog, rock it out again. And make your way onto your hands and knees. Bring your big toes together. You'll sink your hips back, your knees a little wider than your torso, than your hips, and lengthen those arms forward. And take your child's pose here. With that inhale, let the torso lengthen. And we'll walk the hands over to the right side and lengthen your torso over the right thigh. Walk those hands through the center over to the left side. And then back to the center. And press those hands into the floor. We're going to come up into a squat. If you want to practice your crow pose, you're going to look forward out in front of your hands. Keep your triceps squeezed in. You can just practice here by shifting your weight back and forth. Shift into your hands, shift back onto your feet. Keep the belly engaged, pulled in and up like you're trying to get your bottom over your elbows. And then if you want to move deeper into the actual crow, you bring those knees to the backs of the arms and just shift forward. Keep looking out in front of you. As you shift forward, you can see I've barely got my toes on the floor here, and I'm just shifting, picking them up a little bit at a time. And take your time here. If you want to really work on this, you could even pause and play. So if you want to work on that more, take a pause. If you're over it, let those hips sink. You can take a little malasana. Allow the torso to release in between the legs. You can reach back to grab your heels, let your head rest, release down. And then you can lower down gracefully or come onto those knees and swing the legs around. Bringing the soles of the feet together. If you need some support, you may want some support. We're going to bring our head down. So if you're pretty tight here, just use your hands to support and lean forward as far as you can go. If you can get your head to a block, use a block to support you. I want you to feel some ease wherever you're resting, whether your hands are supporting you, the block is supporting you. You may be able to go deeper, but I don't want you to force anything. And my feet are out a little farther than a normal Baddha Konasana. It's more like a diamond. So see how low you can go, again without forcing anything, just resting your head. Breathe into the back lungs. Let the neck, the jaw relax. And noticing, I can bring my forehead to my feet, but I can't rest comfortably there, so I use the block. Maybe find a little length as you come up, that long spine, and then we'll bring the knees back in and extend the legs along. We'll take our Upavishta. Again, the knees pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Find the angle of your pelvis. Notice if it tends to tuck under. And you can, if you find it hard to sit up straight in this one, you can return to the Janu Sirsasana that we did earlier with one leg drawn in, and I suggest using the chair or the couch variation. So you'll still work that length. So same thing here. I want you to find your height where you can rest relatively comfortably, but you feel that nice stretch right to that edge. You feel a good stretch, but you can hang out there for a bit. So if you want to rest your forehead, go for it. If you're open enough. I'm a little tighter in this variation, so I stay lifted. You can walk your hands over to one side. Again, long spine. And just moving at your own pace. Walk back through the center to the other side. Keep the thighs grounded, the torso pulling up and away from the pelvis. Walking back to the other side. Stay with the breath. Always let the breath guide the movement. And then we'll bring it back to the center. Lift the torso, draw those knees in. You always want to be cautious making those adjustments. And then crossing the legs at the shins. Again, release the forehead. Use the hands to support if you don't go very low, or the block at any height. Whatever support you have close by. You can rest your forehead on a chair or the seat of a chair. And then we'll switch the crossing of the legs. So we're not going to stay there too long. And it's okay to have your back arched here, as long as your forehead is supported or you're using your hands to support you. Let the breath move into the back body. We'll press the hands into the floor, lifting the torso back up. And then from here, we're going to make our way onto our backs. Letting the back body rest. And let those legs extend, let the arms relax. And gently rock the head side to side. Let the jaw relax. The muscles of the cheeks. Allowing your breath to be smooth and even. Namaste.